All right. What's up, boys and girls? Ladies and gentlemen. The Super Duke is out of commission for a week while I'm waiting for a new tire to come in. I got a flat, riding it on the gravel. I'm going to try the same tire again. Go with a Michelin, or Pirelli, sorry, not a Michelin. Going with the Pirelli Angel GT. But until then, I'm out here on the 300. I threw my Super Moto wheels on. All the lights back on, signals. I forgot my mirror, as you can see, which, whatever. Can't see anything out of them anyway because they vibrate so much. So yeah, Super Moto 300. This bike you cannot buy in Canada as an EXC model. You can only get it as an XC or an XC-W. So when I bought it, I went to the registration place. I got my insurance, and I went to the registration place and told them I wanted to register as a motorcycle. They clarified that it was not an ATV. I said no, and they registered as a motorcycle. So here we are, got it plated, riding it on the road. So what all does a Super Moto kit entail? So I swapped the tires and rims, obviously. I got 17s on here. I changed the front brake rotor to a 320 mil, so it's massive. I'm talking like KTM brakes are already really good. Now you barely touch it with one finger. This thing will stand up on the front tire. And I haven't changed the master cylinder or calipers or anything. So I changed the rear rotor's the same, although it's a new one. I just kind of did a kit, so it's got a different sprocket, 45 tooth, sorry. And yeah, it's an easy swap. If you were going to do this, or to any dirt bike, I would suggest having a separate chain. One for dirt and one for road, because obviously with different sprocket sizes, you're changing the gearing, and that changes the length of chain that you need. And I had to fight a bit with, well, I didn't have to fight, I just had to crank my adjusters way out to get the chain to the right tension once I changed the sprockets. So with my Super Moto kit, I also got some wiring, because this bike did not come with all the switches and stuff for high and low beam, signal lights, horn. So I ordered this kit from Vancouver Super Moto, out of Vancouver, and yeah, it came with a whole wiring harness that you just attach to the bike. Works really well. Been quite pleased with it. Made for an easy process of adding all these things. I did notice that on these bikes at idle, the stator does not produce enough. Well, it produces power, but it gets really dim. So if you're sitting at an intersection with your signal lights on at idle, they can barely be seen. So you can see right there, when I'm trying to hold a steady speed, this thing is just on-off. That's where the cush drive would be nice. So it's not ideal for just cruising down the road. It just wants to go fast or stop fast. I've been riding for maybe 10 minutes, and already my butt's sore from sitting so much on this stupid seat. And my feet, oh my goodness, feet are vibrating so much. I try pretty hard not to wheelie in town anymore. So dangerous with traffic and dirt and bad roads, bad drivers. I'm going to take this thing a little bit out of town here, see if we can find a spot to play around a little bit. My busty is like getting split in half. This seat is terrible. Oh my goodness. And my feet are vibrating so much. Oh, my butt. Curse you, dirt bike seat. Okay. Out here in my spot, trying to see if I can actually wheelie this Super Moto. Oh man, so I'm not the best rider in the world, but I've been trying to learn. I am trying to learn how to scrape my license plate on this 300 Super Moto. I'll show a few clips from my training, if you want to call it that, from my experimentation. I'm, like I said, I'm not the best rider, so it's quite the learning experience for me. It's actually a lot of fun. I'm starting to be a little more confident in my back brake skills. I'll tell you what, owning a two-stroke sure makes you learn how to use your back brake. Very minimal engine braking on two-stroke motors, so if you like to wheelie and you want to find that balance point and you're not already an expert at back brake control and using the balance points, then there's going to be a few scares. I had one here just a few minutes ago. I'm starting to get better at just coasting it. Well, I shouldn't say I'm starting to get better, but I'm starting to try to coast it on the back tire and actually slow down a little bit using the back brake while I'm up on one wheel. But I'm finding now I got to learn how to steer or balance and steer, because when you are getting close to straight up and down, everything is different. But let me tell you what, it is the coolest feeling. When you're off the gas and it's still going backwards and you're just feathering that rear brake to keep it from going over, and you're getting confidence in it so you're not afraid, that's a great feeling. Nothing like coasting a wheelie. Because, I mean, to be honest, we can all, given the right bike, we can all power wheelie or ride a wheelie especially like on sport bikes, right? They have such high RPM limits that you can bring up a leader bike in first around 5,000 and then ride it for, well, the next 7,000 or 8,000 or whatever they redline at, I don't know. You know, so you can ride that wheelie a long time while still increasing RPM so you can stay off that balance point. And so that's what I've always been able to do my younger days. So now I'm trying to learn how to get away from that and how to ride a wheelie on the balance point. And this 300 is fantastic for that because, well, I'm not terribly concerned about crashing it, to be honest. It's a dirt bike. I've got rad guards, I've got bark busters or whatever you want to call them, the Cycra hand guards. It's going to take a little more it's not going to cost me a lot of money if I dump this thing. Now my Super Duke, on the other hand, well, $20,000 street bike, I'm not really keen on laying that down, sliding it down the road. I obviously still wheelie that bike, but I'm a little bit more timid on that balance point. On the flip side of that, that bike is actually incredibly easy to balance. And it's confidence boosting because it has such great engine braking that if you have no rear brake control at all, or don't even go to the rear brake as an instinct, you can almost get away with it on that bike, because if you just get off the gas, it comes back. I'm sure that's not technically the best way to do wheelies, but it is confidence boosting. I've really been enjoying this two-stroke motor, though. I had a 2006 YZ450F before this. Not Super Moto, of course, just regular dirt bike. And I was trail riding that thing all the time, and that thing was fantastic for wheeling. So much torque and so light that you could wheelie in all 5 gears, like power wheelie. Here in fifth, I could stand up and just wheelie forever. But again, it's because of that four-stroke motor. It's confidence inspiring. It keeps you from worrying about going over backwards, because if you can ride the balance point and have good throttle control, you don't necessarily have to cover. Well, I mean, you do have to cover the back brake. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know if I ever used it. I told myself I would cover it, but I don't think it was until I got this bike that I actually knew how to use the rear brake to save myself. I was riding down the highway once, or a highway, some asphalt, and I was doing a stand-up wheelie in sixth with dirt tires, and I was on the balance point. It felt really good, but I mean, you're moving pretty fast, so I think the wind caught me a bit and pushed me back, and so I started to go, and of course that freaked me out, so I mashed the back brake and the front came down. I just about went over the bars. So it's key to learn a bit of finesse with the back brake. You don't need a footful to save it.